Of course you start vacuuming. Of course you start vacuuming! Why do you hate me? Hey guys, it's Katya. Today I'm gonna be telling you about some experiences I've had with boys in college. Of course they're weird, like it's me. Of course I have weird experiences with boys here. Literally this, I've been saving this idea since the first week of school because that's when I encountered my first weird boy. So you're gonna get a bunch of little story times about boys in college, and I'm not saying this is representative of all boys in college, but these are the ones I've met so far. So I guess I'll go in order. My first week of school, I was on my way to a club meeting for the musical theater club, and I was walking across the street, and this boy literally like stepped in front of me, and I was like, oh sorry, like trying to get around him, and he stepped in front of me again, and I was like, what? And he goes, I just wanted you to know you're literally the most beautiful girl I've ever seen. I was like, I'm late to a club, like I have to go, sorry, haha. And then he steps in front of me again as I try to leave, and he goes, wait, what club? I was like, oh, the musical theater club. And he was like, wait, I'm in that too. And I was like, then why are you walking the opposite way? Like, no, you're lying. And then, so I was like, oh, okay, cool. So then I try to leave again. He steps in front of me again, and he goes, wait, are you Middle Eastern? And I was like, yeah, I'm Lebanese. And he goes, wait, that's so weird. Like, I'm Middle Eastern too. Like, trying to find stuff in common. And I'm like, no, you're not. Like, you're a white boy. I'm sorry, like, I can tell. So when I walk, I usually am on my phone. And so I'm holding my phone, and it was unlocked because I was just on Instagram. He takes my phone from my hand, puts in his number, and then texts himself. So he has my number, and he goes, you know, since we're in the same club, like we should have each other's number. And I was like, what? So I was like, okay, I'll just delete it later. So I take my phone and I literally go to the meeting. And then after the meeting, which he was not in, by the way, after the meeting, they tell us like when auditions are, right? And so I get a text, and it's from this guy, and he goes, hey, like, do you want to meet up so we can like practice audition songs and whatever? And at that time I had a boyfriend, so I was like, and even so he's not cute at all, and he's a senior, by the way, which he told me at some point. And I was like, no, I really don't want to, whatever. And then he was like, well, could you just help me through like texting then, like help me pick a song? And I was like, okay. So I was helping him pick a song, and he's like, okay, thanks, maybe we can meet up and I can sing it for you after dark. Who says that? That's not a line. That's just creepy and rapey. So I didn't answer. The next day, I go audition for this other club, like a little choir, and he's there, and I'm like, if he gets into this choir with me, I'm literally gonna quit. Like, he's so creepy. He's staring at me the entire time. He comes up and is like, oh my god, like, I almost didn't recognize you. Like, remember me from when I stopped you in the street and stole your phone? Yeah, that was me. And I'm like, oh yeah, like trying to avoid him. But thankfully he didn't get it. So I think I've seen him around campus a couple times, but I don't think he remembers me. So I'm obviously not the most beautiful girl he's ever seen. This next boy I met like the second or third week of school, and this is an ongoing boy because he lives in my building. So basically, me and this kid always are in the elevator at the exact same time. And the first couple times I was like, okay, wow, this is like a funny coincidence, whatever. Maybe we could be friends because we're just in the elevator all the time. But pretty soon, I discovered that it was not a coincidence anymore. First, it literally happened probably 3 times, and I was like, this is so weird. And we'd talk about it, we'd laugh, we'd be like, like we're always in the elevator together, like that's so funny, whatever. Until one time I was walking into my building, and like you have to check into my building and then they unlock the stairs to you. Or if you don't want to take the stairs, you go around and take the elevator. So I'm walking in after this boy, and I literally see him open the door to the stairs, and then I get in the elevator, and he gets out of the like stairwell and goes into the elevator, and he goes, oh my god, this is so weird, we're in the elevator again. I literally just saw you come out of the stairwell and go into the elevator because you saw me. So this time we're in the elevator, we're making small talk again. He's hardcore flirting with me. I'm not into it. Then he's like looking at the buttons, and he goes, you know what's weird? they don't have like the emergency stop button. I was like, oh wait, that is kind of weird. Like all elevators usually have like the stop button. And he goes, well, maybe it's a good thing because you never know what would happen if there was one. And he looks at me like he literally wants to. He looks at me like he literally wants to me. He looks at me like he literally wants to me in this elevator right now. And my elevator, of course, is literally the slowest elevator on campus. It takes 5 minutes to open, 5 minutes to go to whatever floor, no matter if it's 1 floor away or like 4. And then it takes 5 minutes to open back up. And of course, he says this, and I don't say anything, and I'm like staring at the door, waiting for it to open. And then he's like staring at me. I'm on my floor, but they're not opening, and I'm like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die here. I'm gonna die here in this elevator. Then again, I was in an elevator with him. He was waiting on the stairs and the elevator button wasn't pushed, so he wasn't waiting for the elevator. So I don't know what he was waiting for. Maybe his friend or something. And I go in the elevator and then he suddenly needs to use the elevator. So he walks in and he goes, wow, like every time, man, like every time we're in the same elevator. There's only one elevator. So we start making small talk. This is kind of after winter break. So I'm like, oh, like that's cool. Like, where'd you go for winter break? And he goes, oh, like I went to see my family, whatever, in San Diego. If you don't know, I'm from San Diego. So I don't tell him that because I'm like, okay, he's gonna stalk me in San Diego now. So now I'm scared for my life at school and in San Diego. And then like last week, this is an ongoing thing, it doesn't end. Last week, I saw him signing in at the desk. So I'm already in the elevator, I see him signing in. The doors are closing, they're like here. And this man sprints to the elevator, puts his hand before it closes, walks in and goes, oh my god, this is such a coincidence again. No, it's not a coincidence when you literally sprint across the room to get to the elevator because you see me in it. It's not. It's just not. Now, there's this other boy. I met him through my friend because we all went out together and then my friend brought him over to our dorm just to like hang out. But she brought him to eventually hook up with him, which we both knew. So we were like, okay, yours, like, that's fine. But the entire night, he was flirting with me. Like, so aggressively. And everyone could tell. This isn't me being like, he was flirting with me. Like, no, my friend literally was like, oh, do you want him? Like, I don't care. And I was like, what? No. She was literally like, no, I really don't care. Like, if you like him back, like, just go for it because he's obviously flirting with you. And I was like, no, you brought him. I'm not just gonna be like, you know, like, no, that's not how things work. And this is the first time I meet him. So we're all sitting on the floor. He gets extremely close to me. He's just like staring at me the entire night. We're talking. He's only looking at me, whatever, getting closer to me. There's literally a point where I'm so uncomfortable. I literally go up in my bunk bed so I don't have to be next to him. But then when I go up to the bunk bed, he stands up and like he's so tall that like he's this much above my bunk bed just by standing up. Like that's literally crazy to me. Like he's well over 6 feet, you know what I mean? So I'm sitting on my bed, I'm chilling. His hand is like resting on the rails of my bunk bed, which is in the air. He's like leaning towards me while I'm sitting on this bunk bed. He gets this close to my face and goes, hey, no. So then I'm like, okay, I've already gone on this bunk bed. What could I do next? So I say, oh, you know, I'm tired. Like, I'm gonna go to bed. And he goes, oh, is your bed comfortable? Climbs up my ladder and sits on my bed. And I'm like, this is the first time I meet you and you're in bed with me. So now there's a 6'5" man hunched over my tiny bunk bed, can't sit up straight because he hits the ceiling. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna sleep. Like, I need to lie down. I can't lie down when you're sitting here. Like, get down now. So he gets down. I'm like on my phone. He's staring at me the entire night. This goes on for literally hours. I'm like not kidding. Hours of him staring at me. So I'm like, okay, I literally can't take this anymore. So I turn around and I pretend to go to sleep. They stay in my room until 6 a.m. and I pretend to be asleep the entire time, but I'm literally awake for hours. They literally came in our room at like 1 a.m. They stayed until 6 a.m. I was pretending to be asleep for about 4 to 5 hours. This story makes me look worse. Like, I'm just so antisocial. Wow. The last story I'm gonna tell you was like last weekend. The reason I haven't filmed this video is because I just keep adding to this list. So 2 weeks ago, I went to a club with my friends and I met this cute boy and I was like, okay, he seems nice. So we start dancing, whatever, we're hanging out. After a while though, I kind of get bored. After a while, I kind of get a little bored. So I'm like, I make some excuse and I'm like, oh, like I need to go find my friends, whatever. And he's like, oh, okay, can I get your Snapchat? And I'm like, oh yeah, sure. So I give him my Snapchat, whatever. And then I don't see him the rest of the night and I'm just with my friends dancing, whatever. So the next day he starts Snapchatting me. He's just making small talk. So I like answer, but pretty soon I get bored. I feel so bad. Oh no. Go to the bathroom and then I'll be dead. Like 5 minutes. Sorry. It gets to the point where he's like Snapchatting me, but I'm literally answering him a day later because I just don't care enough to open it. This makes me sound bad, but like it's boring. Like So he asked me out over the weekend and I'm like, okay, like why not? Like I'll give you a chance. Maybe you were just boring in the club because you can't really talk, it's really loud, whatever. But I had plans the day he asked me, so I was like, oh no, like maybe another day, like I'm with my friends right now. But also, I don't care enough to plan it. So like if he doesn't plan it, like we're not going out. You know what I mean? So that weekend, he doesn't make any plans, so we don't hang out. But I go to that same club again and he's there again. Honestly, this night, like I kind of just want to dance with my friends, but he like sees me and he comes over to me and he starts like dancing. He's like, oh hi, like so awkwardly. And I'm like, hi. So he starts dancing like next to me awkwardly and I'm like, okay, this is really weird. And then I'm kind of like asking my friend, like, should I just dance with him because this is awkward and like whatever. She's like, yeah, just do it, who cares. So I dance with him again and this time I try to talk to him, but literally I'm like, oh yeah, like asking him a bunch of questions. He's like, yeah, no, yeah, cool. It's just so boring. So boring. After a couple songs, I'm like, okay, like I'm bored. I don't want to do this anymore. So I go to my friend. I'm like, go to the bathroom with me. And she's like, okay. So I'm like, I gotta go to the bathroom. Bye. So I go to the bathroom. I don't need to go to the bathroom. Like, that's that. So we come back from the bathroom and I'm like, okay, I don't want to dance with him anymore. Can we just stay like here? It was on the same side that he was, but like he was in the crowd and we were kind of on the outside. So I was like, yeah, let's just stay here. They're like, okay. So I'm dancing with my friends again. And like, he's really tall. So he stands out over the whole crowd. And I just see like this head like darting back and forth. And I'm like, oh my god, is that him? So my roommate, that's who I was with, she's like, yeah, that's him. And I was like, okay, can you switch me so I'm not facing him so he can't see me? And I was like, she's like, yeah, sure. So we switch and I'm like still dancing because I don't want him to come over. But like, I don't know how. This is the second time he's ever seen me. He recognizes the back of my head and she goes, oh, he's coming over here. So we switch back again because I don't want him touching me. But he still comes over, he's dancing like next to my roommate and my other friend now because I'm across from him and I'm like, yeah, hi. He's like, hi. And I'm like, did you not get that I ditched you? Does this make me sound bad? I feel like it does. So I would just keep dancing. He like crosses over next to me. He's so awkward. He's like bopping like next to me. Oops. He's so awkward. He's bopping next to me like looking at me. So he's like this and I'm like, no, this is no. So I'm like, okay, I really don't want to dance with him. So I look at my roommate and I'm like, hi, I'm kind of hot, let's go get some air. And she's like, we just got air. And I was like, no, I didn't get enough. So we all leave again and then I'm telling them like, no, I don't want to dance with him. Like, how do I like get him away from me? I don't want to hurt his feelings, whatever, but I don't want, So we come back, I don't see him. So I go to literally the other end of the club. I see his head look for me and I kind of like duck down so he doesn't see me and he doesn't. So we're good. So then I get home. That night he Snapchats me and I don't answer because I'm like, okay, I'm done. The next day he Snapchats me and I'm like, I'll just not open it until like a really long time and I'll leave him on red. And so like I wait a long time and then I open it and it's like an address and he's like, oh, come hang out with me, whatever. And I don't answer again. And then the next day, this is so dumb. The next day he Snapchats me again and he's like, oh, are we still hanging out this weekend? The weekend is over. What do you mean? It's literally Sunday. And I'm like, I'm busy. And he's like, oh, cool, period. He hasn't Snapchatted me since, so I think he took the hint after being left on red 3 times and being ditched twice. Does that make me sound like a horrible person? I feel like it does, but I really don't care. The fact that I have to go to those lengths to get someone to stop talking to me. Love being a girl. Love being a girl. But yeah, those were a few of my stories about boys in college. I hope you enjoyed. I'm not saying all boys in college are weird, but of course I would meet the weird ones, right? Leave a like if you enjoyed watching. All my socials are below, and subscribe if you like this and if you want more stories. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!
No time for no games. Tell me what you like, but it's never gonna change. So you do what you want.